Jasmine, do you like Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, what's not to like?
Well, it's just that time of year again, when random outlet malls are getting turned into Spirit Halloween, or they got some vacant shop where they can turn into Spirit Halloween. It always makes me happy because that means Halloween's coming around.
Yeah, Halloween's a cool holiday. So much like so many cool decorations and costumes are fun.
Do you have a favorite one when you were growing up?
Um, I'd have to say when I dressed up as the Pink Power Ranger.
Pink Power Ranger?
Yes.
I remember one time I was Darth Vader. One time I was Batman. And then one time I was like a snake ninja. I was pretty cool, obviously. But I think one thing that you and I share is that with Halloween comes horror movies and just that scary tradition. And it's interesting because the first time you and I actually sat down and watched a horror movie together, we watched two family-friendly good ones back to back. It was Hellraiser, and then we watched The Thing. And I recall that the first time when you and I hung out that I saw you had the model of the cube from Hellraiser. What is that called? I'm sorry.
The Lament configuration.
Whatever you said. So then we watched Hellraiser, and we'll get to like Hellraiser in detail on a later time. But I think you and I can both agree that Hellraiser's up there. Is it your favorite horror movie?
It's one of my favorites, definitely.
See, it's a weird movie, but but watching it back, it made me love it more. It's so good. And then The Thing is just with the practical effects, and it just makes you feel so uneasy, and it's all like ice, everyone's isolated.
Yeah. I just love the body horror. I just like to see like how horrific they can make the thing look.
Well, I forget if I asked you. Did you ever see The Fly?
No, I've never watched the whole thing like straight through. I've seen like bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I say The Fly, I mean the Cronenberg
Yeah.
version with Jeff Goldblum, because I'm pretty sure someone's going to be like, oh, the original or the remake? It's like, I bet you didn't know there was a remake. Fuck you, I did. Anyway, so you are more of a supernatural demon boogeyman type fan of horror. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my jam.
Okay. See, I'm a slasher fan. I got to go with the 8. Jason Voorhees will always be bae to me. I love the Friday the 13th movies. They're absolutely atrocious. They're terrible. Except for the 4th one and the 6th one.
Oh, really? What makes those special? Certainly not the acting.
Look, it's fantastic. No, it's the 4th one. In my opinion, it's called The Final Chapter. Even though they made like 7 more movies after that, it's a really good slasher movie. It's a very well done slasher. They actually flesh out some characters. You know, there's a whole bunch of new teens to kill. It's like everyone's having sex, and you know what that means. Like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street series too. Did you like Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Because obviously the first Nightmare on Elm Street's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the second one. Then part 3, Dream Warriors, classic. And then it just goes down the shitter. How he used to be scary, and then all of a sudden he turned into like this funny comedian who would torture people and make people laugh while he killed them.
Yeah.
And
I
Freddy's
don't know
Death
how
Defying
that
was
didn't
terrible.
piss me off, but somehow it didn't. I'd say apart from the first one, Dream Warriors was my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prime time, bitch!
I liked New Nightmare. You didn't like it.
No, I did not.
I liked it because it was Wes Craven again, and it just had that feeling, that atmosphere. It just felt like even though it was different, it was right.
Well, that's the thing. I don't like Wes Craven. He's very hit or miss for me, but when he misses, for me, he misses hard.
Did you like Child's Play?
I did. I can't count that as a horror movie, though, because there's nothing scary about something that you could just kick across the room.
I don't know. Like, I would be so confused if I saw a little doll with a knife charging after me.
Like, yeah, confusion at first, but like the closer it gets, fight or flight kicks in. Pun intended.
That was good.
Thank you.
So, I take it Pinhead is probably your favorite horror icon.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's Jason. Now, who would be number 2?
Freddy.
Yeah, I'd probably go Freddy. But you don't like Halloween. You don't like Michael Myers.
I just don't really find him all that scary. He's just some random dude in a mask with a knife.
Terrifying, obviously. Do you not hear him with the duh, da da, da, da da? It's so great.
I just don't understand how he doesn't just get shot in the face like in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I totally get that. And the same thing kind of with maybe with Leatherface too. But I forget if you and I ever talked about this going on. What about like Jeepers Creepers?
I like Jeepers Creepers.
And I think, did you see all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one's great.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is it's pretty good. I like the second one.
It is, but it's also very different from the first one.
It's the thing is, I like the fact that they're trapped on the bus. I like the fact that everyone kind of like relearns everything.
Yeah.
And the weird premonitions I remember because Justin Long's in that movie again too, and he's just like pointing or some shit. I don't know, but
yeah, that movie has so many funny moments. I'd say my absolute favorite is when like all the kids are standing in the aisle of the bus and they're all looking at the creeper who's looking at them through the windshield. And he's like picking out which one he wants. He's telling, okay, you move to the side.
Yeah.
You move to the side. I want you. And he like licks the windshield.
Yeah, like flat out. He's getting all of that.
I know. Like the first time I saw that, I just like started dying laughing.
See, I the thing is if I remember that scene correctly, the shot's kind of like in the corner. Where he's in the corner and it's like actually creepy because I remember that scene. Like I get what you're saying, it's funny like that, but to me like that's one of the creepiest scenes.
Like, yeah, I thought it was creepy, but it was also funny. I don't know. I guess instead of like hiding, my first reaction was to laugh.
Okay, well I guess I can, because I remember when you and I watched Hellraiser 2, which is better than I remember it. There's a scene in it where it's supposed to be taken as creepy, and I literally just started dying laughing. And it's
which scene?
It's a scene where like he comes up and like after the doctor guy who wants to know more about death, he actually gets transformed into like a Cenobite or whatever. He like comes out like ah, like and he just looks so ridiculous, and it just made me laugh because it just made me. I just can't really put my my finger on it. It just made me laugh.
Yeah, I can totally understand that because I think that's actually another moment where I felt something was both hilarious and creepy at the same time. Like that one, just I guess the noise he was making.
Yeah.
Like that whole time, like that's what kind of like creeped me out a little bit.
He's like flailing his arms, I think, if I remember. I hope that's correct. But
yeah. Yeah, but I think like just the way he was flailing around, like that was the hilarious part.
Now you've told me before that you hate The Grudge.
No, I don't hate it. I said The Grudge is the like only movie that really scared me.
Well, that's what I mean by when you hate it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even like make the noise or else you get creeped out.
Exactly. And don't do it. I can see it on your face. You're getting ready to do it. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I think I already told you my feelings of The Grudge. Like, it's nothing to do with Sarah Michelle Gellar, even though all of it's to do with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I just can't take her seriously in the movie. I just can't.
Oh my God, why?
She was Buffy, and then she was Daphne in the Scooby-Doo things. Like, Daphne, what are you doing?
Keeping it real.
So what other movies, I don't know if that creeped you out as a child, but what were like the horror movies growing up that just were just stuck with you? And It's like when you think about like the movies that scared you the most when you were growing up, and you just have those first memories. Because I have a few.
Don't you?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Yeah, Candyman, absolutely.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, it's funny because I rewatched it again as an adult and I was like, why was I scared by this? This is absolutely ridiculous. But when I watch it, it's almost like I can feel like 10-year-old me like being scared while watching it even as an adult.
Alien. I watched Alien probably for the first time when I was 5 years old, maybe.
Oh my God, 5 years old.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. No, I remember, I'm not going to lie, I think I said I wanted to watch a scary movie. I'm pretty sure my sisters just put in Alien for me and turned the light. I remember the lights being off.
Oh my God.
And they just said, all right, here you go. Well, I got another one if you want to comment on it.
Okay, go ahead.
The Blair Witch Project.
That was one my parents wouldn't let me watch.
I was very young when I watched The Blair Witch Project, and of course I thought all of it was real. And the found footage element just scared me, and I don't know, it just gave me goosebumps, and I rewatched it maybe 2 years ago. It does not hold up. I say that as politely as I can. It does not hold up.
Yeah, I guess that's why I didn't like it. I didn't even get all the way through it because I didn't watch it until I became an adult. I don't remember. I don't know. I got like halfway through and I was like, this is just so boring.
So, do you remember The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz? Yeah, I love that movie. It's absolutely fantastic. Scared the absolute shit out of me. When I look at it as an adult, I think it's just great. And then I remember my mom being, it's not even that scary. Stop being such a baby. And I look back on it, I'm like, man, she was right.
There was one particular scene where he turns himself into sand and comes through the keyhole like of the door, like to get into the room where I don't remember what one chick's name was.
Evie.
Yeah, she was asleep in the bed and he comes over and he kisses her and like the area of his face that was like
starts like decomposing as he kisses her.
That just grossed me out so much that I was afraid I was gonna wake up and like see him like trying to come at me with this like grossness. So it was more like me being like grossed out than like scared, like genuinely scared.
That's funny. I got it. What do you think about Signs? You remember Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie? I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It didn't really make a huge impression on me, to be honest. Like, I thought it was a fine movie.
I saw it at the drive-in. It was pretty cool. There's that one scene where Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
He's watching the TV in the news report, then it just shows like the alien on the TV. I don't know why. It just comes out of nowhere. It always just like gets me.
He had some awesome ones like The Sixth Sense, and then he had some very unfortunate one.
Just going to talk in a very positive manner, giving off good vibes. We're just here to use the bathroom, and then we're just gonna leave. I hope that's okay.
The Village, which, oh my God, that movie pissed me off.
I was on board until the end.
Yeah, that's how I was too.
Like, I thought this movie, it had, honestly, like, because people be like, oh, the pig monsters are stupid. Everything about this movie's stupid. Okay, with that, okay, I get it. Okay. But to me, this movie has somewhat of a charm until you get to the end. What are, like, your favorite horror movies?
The Grudge is always going to be at the top of the list. The Lazarus Effect was pretty creepy.
I didn't see the Lazarus Effect. I had no interest in seeing that.
Really?
Yeah, it just looked like another blah movie to me.
It wasn't like super high budget or anything, but it was really good, I thought. And I think they found a way to make it extremely creepy with what little they had. Like, the whole movie took place in the lab pretty much. And they were somehow able to make this woman, who for the most part just looks like a normal woman, make her like genuinely scary.
Did you like Saw?
Yeah, I liked the first Saw the most.
See, I think I like the second one the most. Second one to me, like don't get me wrong, the first one's fantastic. But to me, the second one, it did what you do in a sequel correctly. You elevate the material. It aside from getting bigger, badder, I just thought it was a great sequel. Part 3, Saw 3 had some parts, some good parts, and then after that, it's just a dumpster fire. Part 6 is okay, but after that, just dud.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like you. I did think that the second one was really good. I just like the first one just a little bit more just because of that ending, how it was so unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, me neither. That was the only movie to ever leave me with my jaw just hanging open.
Game over.
I watched the first 3 and I thought that the third one would have been a good end.
Yeah, it literally would have been.
And I only started watching the fourth one because I thought, well, what else is there to say?
Well, it's interesting when they have more movies when he's dead than when he's alive.
Exactly.
I think the fourth one is probably the worst one. It's either 4 or 5. Well, we're actually talking about Saw 4 and 5. Wow. How did we get here? But mainly going on that kind of genre, you kind of go like into Eli Roth territory with Hostel, and because I always kind of lump those two because they kind of came out. I believe they came out like within a year or so apart, and I kind of just put them like in the torture porn genre. So I always associate them with one another, but to me, Saw is better.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't really remember the first. I know I've seen it, but I don't really remember it. I was like, okay, because he did. Well, did you like Cabin Fever?
Yeah, I like Cabin Fever better than Hostel.
Oh, absolutely. Even though Cabin Fever is just has the worst dialogue ever.
I didn't really think about it, to be honest. I was more like, okay, get to the gross stuff.
Yeah, I think that like the body horror elements are good, like when she's shaving and she's actually shaving away parts of her skin.
Yeah. I really want to know, how does she not notice that? Didn't it hurt?
I don't know. And then she like she's like crying while she's shaving. I'm like, oh, she's crying because oh no, she doesn't realize it. And then she starts crying more.
Did you see the remake?
Of what?
Cabin Fever.
Wait, they did a remake?
Yeah.
Eli Roth had somebody remake one of his movies.
Oh yeah, and it was terrible. They literally just redid almost shot for shot the original movie.
Oh my god.
And so in that one, when the girl is sitting in the tub crying and shaving, because it's the exact same movie, she immediately runs outside and gets eaten by a feral dog.
Perfect. Just perfect. Just, yes.
Awesome.
What do you think about horror movies nowadays?
I think they're mostly just a cash grab.
Are they even good?
Very few and far in between.
Well, I remember I saw a trailer for a horror movie where someone could see like a boogeyman creature or monster through their phone. And anytime I see a horror movie trailer where social media is involved or some cell phone, there's another movie called like Bedeviled or some shit. It's like, oh, install this app. He's going to get you. It's ridiculous. And
Because, like, to save yourself, you could just not.
I mean, it's one thing like when a stranger calls, or like the Ring, or like a phone issue, but like just nowadays, like with technology, and oh my gosh, I remember in this movie called Wish Upon. You have to see this movie called Wish Upon. It's absolutely hilarious. They know about this curse and this evil thing that kills people, and they're scared, right? Mm-hmm. But one of these girls has like a Pokemon Go type game or some kind of like cell phone interactive game where she has to go get something, right? So she knows that she's a target for like the Final Destination shit or whatever, right? So she decides, hey, I'm gonna get in an elevator and I'm gonna go like all the way to the top floor. What could possibly go wrong? The Witch was good. I didn't mind Hereditary. Midsummer was okay. We both agree on the Babadook.
Yeah, I think both Hereditary and Babadook are like the latest horror movies that are actually good. I don't think a lot of them since, I want to say, the past decade have been that great.
No, it's not art anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we get butts in the seats? Oh, let's give it the most generic premise ever.
Exactly. It's either let's reboot something, or let's do a sequel, or we'll just make some generic, a group of 20-somethings go out into a cabin in the middle of the woods.
What did you think about The Exorcist?
The Exorcist, I thought, was really good. I wasn't alive when it first came out. I obviously couldn't have seen it when it first came out. I don't know if I would have thought it was scary if I had seen it back then. But when I did watch it, I remember I was 10 years old, and I watched it by myself because my dad brought it home, and he like tosses it to me. He's like, here you go. And so I'm like, okay, cool. This is what I'm doing tonight. So I'm watching it by myself in the dark. And I was just like riveted the whole time. I was constantly wondering, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? And I certainly wasn't expecting a lot of the things that came out of that little girl's mouth.
You know what she did? Your canting daughter?
And I thought of another movie that scared me a lot as a kid. Poltergeist. I think that was the genesis of my fear of clowns, especially clown dolls. Oh my gosh.
But of all the things that happened in that movie, that's what you were afraid of?
Yes. It's terrifying. And all of a sudden he has like demon teeth or something like that. Nah. Miss me with that. And then you randomly like Poltergeist 2?
Yeah. What's wrong with Poltergeist 2?
No, I forgot all about that movie until we watched it.
It was really good.
Yeah, that one was better than I thought it was. I just thought like it was just a random like, oh, let's watch Poltergeist 2. I'm like, Poltergeist 2?
Yeah, I'll never suggest that we watch the third one, though. Don't have to worry about that.
I don't think I've ever seen the third one.
Yeah, it may have been good if they were able to end it how they wanted to, but obviously they couldn't because Heather O'Rourke died. Yeah, that was tragic. Because she was so talented.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, she is what drove the movie.
Did you ever see Salem's Lot?
Yes. I actually read the book too.
Of course you did.
I did the homework.
Anyway. Yeah, Salem's Lot scared me. I need to give that a rewatch.
It scared you?
It scared me as a kid, yeah. It was one, yeah, I think Salem's Lot was one of the first ones I watched. Because that's like a very, very early memory. Like I put the same time frame I saw Salem's Lot with the same time frame I saw The Wizard of Oz.
Well, I guess it makes sense if you were a little kid. I didn't watch it until I was an adult, and I was like, oh, this is kind of lame. Well, I guess not lame. It held my attention until the end, but it definitely wasn't scary.
What'd you think about Evil Dead?
Evil Dead, it's kind of like when you watch it, you can see all of the influences that it has caused, like in the horror genre.
You can see how. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like as you watch it, you just know you're watching a classic.
I hear people say they like Evil Dead 2 the most, and I'm like, I like the first one, and then you have Army of Darkness, which is Army of Darkness.
This is my boomstick!
Well, I don't know if this is controversial. It may be, but I absolutely hated Evil Dead 2. And so I didn't even watch the third one.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Okay.
You look personally offended. The second one was a shift in genre.
Yeah. It was a climb on board, but some of you probably won't like the journey.
Exactly. I wanted that like creepiness of the first one, but then they went to like horror comedy, and that's just not what I was there for. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, and I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like a franchise should stick to the genre. I don't think it should deviate from that. Like maybe you can add to it, like say if your trilogy is a thriller, maybe you could add some horror elements to it, but at the heart of it, it's still a thriller,
Yeah, I get that. I mean, maybe if you're going to make like just like a one-off movie where you want to do something else and just see what you can do. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know that there's movies that have done it.
You mean like the Conjuring universe?
Oh God, don't even get me started on The Conjuring. Okay, let's get into this. The Conjuring is stupid. I don't think they're scary. I think they're absolutely stupid. I tried to watch the first one. It was dumb. I tried to watch the second one. It was dumb. I think I saw parts of I think it was the fifth one, and it was just the first 10 minutes are just so ridiculous. Things are already flying off the walls. Like there's like a demon monster trying to stick his hand and claws over like the railings of a shower. I'm like, what happened to subtlety? Slowly build up the tension. I don't know. I like the first Insidious. I didn't really care for the sequels. If we're getting into like that kind of thing, I think like that shift, like because you had like the Insidious movies and the Conjuring, and then you had like little one-off movies like The Devil Inside, just all of these like demons. Like I was just done. Like any movie that had to do with that, like I was just done. No thanks. And I think that's where my bias comes in, and I think we talked about that.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Conjuring universe, all except for Curse of La Llorona, because first of all, I don't even understand how that's supposed to connect to the rest of it, and second of all, that's an entirely different story. That's a Mexican legend. They just yanked that into the Conjuring universe, just for a cash grab.
Now, was it the Conjuring? Did it have the was it the second one where it had like the weird, like the Crooked Man or something? Was that his name? Which came from, I can't even keep up.
They were all in the same universe. So the Conjuring movies, all the Annabelle movies. Oh, and The Nun. No matter what some people have said, I thought that The Nun was creepy. Like not the kind of creepy that, I walked away from the theater like, ooh, I'm gonna need to watch a comedy or something to get that off my mind afterwards. But kind of while I was watching it, in the moment, I thought it was creepy. And if I rewatch it, I'd probably think the same thing.
Now, I want to go into like some fun. I don't know if you can call them horror, but what about like Tremors?
Absolutely love Tremors.
Yeah, I want to have this conversation. We need to do a whole thing on Tremors.
Absolutely. Each movie should have its own episode.
Oh my God, you love it that much?
Yes, I could totally do that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, first one, fantastic, obviously.
Definitely. Because everything's better with bacon.
Oh, Jesus! What the hell's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on?
Anyway, part 2. I like part 2. I think people sleep on part 2. I know Kevin Bacon's not in it, and I don't mind Fred Ward in the lead. I think he's fine. You know, Burt Gummer's back, so it's fine. And then you get the Shriekers, which are cool. Part 2 is the only Tremors movie that actually genuinely gave me the creeps a little bit.
Really?
Because there's a scene where they're trying to get picked up from because their truck got destroyed or something like that, so they can't move. So they send someone to go after them, and then the truck just stops, and then they have to walk in the dark, and then they just see the truck's abandoned, and then there's hands. Like, I don't know why, just like that every time, even now, it just gives me chills.
Maybe you're just like picturing yourself in, his place going, oh,
well, Earl Bassett is not allowed to freak out like that. It's a whole new ball game.
It's a whole new ball game. A whole new goddamn ball game.
Yeah, I really like how original Tremors was.
I think I think there's going to be something like an SNL skit about like land sharks or something like that. And then, because they were going to do something like that, I was like, no, we need to change it. Thank God they did.
I mean, don't they already make movies like that? Like Sharknado and bull crap like that?
Well, do you even count those as horror movies?
I don't even count those as movies.
I mean, well, that's the thing. Is like they're movies that are self-aware of how terrible they are. Could Leprechaun fall into that category?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I mean, I never took that movie seriously anyway. But like people who do, I mean, is Leprechaun, is that one of those movies that have a cult following?
I think so. I mean, they did make like how many of them? 7, 8.
I think Leprechaun goes to space.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think he does. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he does. And
early 2000s, everyone went to space.
The early 2000s was a weird time for horror movies.
It really was, because everyone was in space. Even Dracula went to space.
He did, didn't he?
Dracula 2000.
Was it? Wait, I think it was 3000.
I swear it was 2000.
Who's right? Jason X is absolutely ridiculous. No, have you seen Jason X, one where he goes to space?
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
I didn't understand why.
Because it's great. I mean, you know what space was missing? Jason. Duh.
What was I thinking?
I think we should end it on that.
On that note.